y'all, we told you about this story that took place Monday on MLK Day. 4 black teenagers were riding their bikes as part of a protest. And all of a sudden, a crazy-ass white woman claimed one of them ran over her foot. Now, mind you, she was supposed to have ass in her car. She decided to get out of her car and accost these young folks. Then claims one of them ran over her foot. Then, all of a sudden, her boyfriend, crazy white boy, he jumps out his car with his gun, yelling the N-word at these black teenagers. Joining us. So first of all, before I go to them, again, here's a video. That event that was shot by the gentleman who was leading that protest. We had him on the show, but here was the video so y'all can understand what we're about to talk about with the teenagers. And this is an exclusive interview with us. They would talk to anybody else. So roll the tape.
Get in front of my car, you fucking piece of shit. Nigger, stop! Nigger, stop! Nigger, stop!
She's so violent.
I ain't touch you.
You just ran over me! You just ran over me! You're tired! No, you're not! You're right here! You ran over my butt!
Don't touch me, bro.
You just touched me, you bunch of thugs! Fuck you, bitch!
Fucking white ass. Whoa! Who did?
That guy in the red! Yeah, right behind this guy! You ran
Fuck
over
out of
my
here,
butt!
piece of shit! You fucking losers!
You ran over my foot!
These fucking stupid niggas.
You guys, keep moving!
Fucking dumbass fucking niggas.
And this guy right
Go.
now.
Y'all gonna be on the news. Y'all gonna make the news.
That's fine.
All right. Hey, fucking idiots. Y'all stupid niggas. Listen, you stupid niggers. Put that gun in my head, bitch.
All right, folks. Now, the man in the video, Mark Bartley, was arrested, and his girlfriend, Dana Scallion, was fired from her job. Joining us right now, this exclusive interview of 4 of the kids involved in the event and their attorneys, Marvin Porter and Lee Merritt. First of all, I don't have the names of the 4 kids, so if you could go ahead if you want. If you can't, introduce yourselves, please.
Donis Cruz.
Octavia Simonette. Jalise Flores.
And this is Marwan Porter with the Cochran firm.
All right, so first off, to the young folks, so explain to us, before this happened, what were you doing in downtown Miami on your bikes? Explain for the audience what you were doing.
We were protesting for fair housing because they want to take our low-income housing and make them private.
And when did y'all decide to be a part of this protest?
2 weeks ago.
And so how many other folks were on bikes? Were there people who were walking, or was everyone during the protest, were they on bicycles?
Bicycle.
What I understand is, I'm sorry, am I?
Actually, one of you go ahead, then Lee Merritt, hold on one second. Go ahead. So everyone was on bicycles?
Yes.
Okay, Lee Merritt, one of the other attorneys, go ahead.
I just wanted to give a little context. There was over 200 participants on bikes that day. This is a major day in Miami. Every MLK day, they have an adult sort of ride out called Wheels Up, Guns Down, which is an anti-gun event. And these young people wanted to be a part of that and advocate for something that they were concerned about in their community. So led by Dwight Williams, who I believe may be president, is one of the organizers there in Miami. They had a program called Bikes Up, Guns Down, where they protested on behalf of both gun violence and how this is a huge event every year on MLK Day.
So for the 4 of you, you were there. You're on your bicycles, and then what then happens? What was traffic being blocked? What was going on that caused this woman to get out of her car and approach you?
Nothing, we were just blocking traffic. And then she got mad out of her vehicle and she walked to the front where we was at and started yelling at us.
So what y'all were doing, so were y'all were stopping traffic, or were y'all crossing the street?
We were stopping traffic.
And so then all of a sudden she gets out of her car and she then claims that someone ran over her foot with a bicycle. Did that actually happen?
No.
And so, well, obviously y'all all in unison on that one.
Adonis, he actually will be able to kind of tell you what happened because he's the one who was kind of popping with. So why don't you tell him, Adonis, what happened?
Nothing. I was popping the wheelie. I was minding my own business while the other kid was talking to the lady about his bike. Then I popped my wheelie and I heard somebody called my name. And before I knew it, I turned around, I pressed the brakes, and I hit the ground. And she said I hit her feet, but I hit actually behind the kid's feet without touching the lady. And then she got mad and pushed my bike and hit me with my bike and started yelling. So me and her started fussing back and forth.
How much time went by as she was verbally yelling at all of you? What, 2 or 3 minutes? Was it 5, 10 minutes? How much time did all this take place?
Like a good 4 or 5 minutes.
And then all of a sudden, while she is yelling, she's cursing, then her boyfriend comes up. And how did y'all feel when all of a sudden you see him with a gun in his right hand?
I felt terrified.
I felt scared.
I felt shocked.
Why don't you tell him a little bit, kind of, because I think Jaleese kind of saw him coming up with the gun. So why don't you tell him what happened?
He was running with the gun, and he ran to the lady, and the lady told him who it was, and they pointed at him. So that's when he goes up to he goes up to him, and while he goes up to him, I'm standing behind him just looking at the gun.
And so then all of a sudden, he starts calling y'all the N-word.
Yes.
And so while he has his gun, he's yelling the N-word. Other folks in their cars, did anybody try to get out? I mean, because obviously he's walking up to you. You're scared to death. What was going on? Because we see all of you in the video. Did any of you say, you know what, we need to bug out, we need to get out of here, run away? Just take me through all those things, all your emotions, what was happening at that time.
Once you get honest, I know you kind of froze at the time, huh?
Yeah. When he came up with a gun, when I didn't see it, when he was running, and when he got next to his wife, and then when I seen the gun, I got so scared that I didn't want to run. I stood there looking at him, and when he got up to me, I thought he was going to do something to me with the gun, so I didn't move. I froze, got scared, and when he told me, get away from here, niggers, I just froze there and just stood. Didn't want to run.
And
what about you?
Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was terrified, and I ran.
We saw the video end. How did this end? Did police arrive? So take me through that. What happened when the video stopped? What happened after that?
There were police going way in front of us, and that's when everybody thought it was for us, like we did something wrong. But the man, he was getting arrested, and the lady, she had her hands up.
So when someone said, hey, you're going to be on television, and they're sitting here accosting you, cops come on the scene, the four of you, you're thinking the cops are there to deal with you. Then all of a sudden, they came on. So at any point, did the cops try to detain any one of you, or were they solely focused on this man who was carrying this gun?
They were focused on the man.
And as he's getting arrested, what is he saying to the cops? Is he still talking trash to y'all? What's happening?
No.
I think he actually said something to the effect of, why are you arresting me? They're the ones who were in the streets.
This took place 4 days ago. We have seen tons of interviews of these white kids from Kentucky who made news over the weekend. Does it make the four of you, does it anger you that national media has talked to all of these kids, has gone to their school, all of this attention, apparently they're getting invited to the White House, yet they've ignored your story. They've ignored what took place in this case.
Kentucky. Yeah, they're a little, shocked by it. For those of you that don't know, Miami Dade County is a very real place, and these kids were out there trying to do something positive. People get killed, in Miami every day, and they've started an effort, bikes up, guns down, and it was a positive effort. And ironically, the same thing that they were advocating against is what they were the victims of, and we definitely think that national news, should pick this up because these kids are positive. They could be in the streets doing a whole lot of different things, but they choose to ride their bikes, and have fun and be kids. And this is what they get. So they're definitely disappointed that national news hasn't picked it up, especially because it's a positive effort. And hopefully after you, Roland, they'll get on board.
Well, trust me, it won't be the first time they've gotten on board after we did something on one of my shows. Final question for the four of you. The man has been arrested. The woman, she's lost her job. What do y'all want to see happen next?
Well, one thing, and probably Lee Merritt has the ability to kind of go into it a little bit more.
I think we've lost Lee's Skype. They're going to let me know, but go ahead.
Okay, well, we're asking for enhancement, of the charges. They gave him, a charge of, I believe, carrying a weapon without a license. But that's just the bottom, crime that he is guilty of. We are asking for him to be charged, and her as well, with assault, battery, and potentially some hate crimes. In addition, again, the Cochran firm has stood up for civil rights for a very, very long time. Whether it's race-based, gender-based, whatever it may be, we want injustices to be corrected. So civilly, we are going to go after both of them and make them understand that, they cannot be going around, waving guns in little black kids and Hispanic kids' face, calling them niggers without there being consequences. So we're going to make sure that they answer, to this situation and that they pay for it, figuratively and literally.
To the four young folks, has this caused you to be afraid to protest in the future?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as a result of this, your intentions were to protest housing there. And so because of what took place here, you're going to have second thoughts before you decide to be involved in a future protest.
Yes.
Yeah, Roland, and fortunately, I think when we all watched the video the first time, I was just cringing, hoping that one of these kids did not get shot. Now, if you looked at one of the earlier videos, he was attempting to bait them into a bad situation, and this could have turned out much differently. And I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, there's a much bigger lesson in this. These individuals were expressing, their constitutional rights of freedom of speech. And what message are we sending to our youth? That if you have a philosophy or an idea that you want to express, and if someone doesn't agree with it, you can pay for it with your life. And, it seems like we're going back in time, and we cannot let that happen.
All right, then. We certainly appreciate all of you joining us. I don't speak for other media outlets. It is a shame that when these stories happen, national media pretty much ignores them. Do understand when Trayvon Martin was killed, it was folks like me and others who drove social media to get national media to pay attention to this, and they should be covering this. This is also why we created this platform, so we don't have to ask or beg somebody else to tell our story. We do it ourselves. But I will say this here to the four of you, and that is I totally understand you being afraid of somebody getting out of a car with a gun. I've had to face being a kid and someone having a gun in my face, and it is absolutely scary. But what you also know is that in our history, black folks have always had to protest, have always had to agitate. When I think about the black kids who were in Birmingham, who walked into harm's way when they sicked dogs and fire hoses on them, and all they were fighting was to be treated like Americans. We celebrate them today for being those foot soldiers. And so although it was traumatic for you, what you endured on Monday, do understand all 4 of you and the others there were doing the absolute right thing to protest housing in Miami. You were doing the right thing to put yourselves on the line. And I would hope that you not give up in the future in doing so, that you be willing to say you're going to be emboldened and you're not going to let any crazy white man or some crazy white woman stop you from demanding your full rights as an American. So good luck to all of you, and I'm sure we'll be talking again in the future. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, Roland.
Thanks a lot. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.